Dr. Edward Mantill, British Invasion, Polar Vortexes and Pandemic Flu. In one interview with Dr. Edward Mantill, he told me of a parallel universe where the USA was once again under British rule, killer winter storms killed over 250,000, and of a pandemic flu that almost wiped out humanity. Over the past week we have seen some troubling thing. We have begun to worry that our parallel timelines are catching up to us. We have found out that most of us will face a polar vortex once again, the likes we have never saw. The polar vortex that shocked the Northeast with extremely cold days may bring more bitterly cold winters to North America, according to a new study. The polar vortex is a massive system of swirling air that usually contains cold air around the North Pole. It has been shifting for decades, researchers found, but it has only recently become a household term, after it was blamed for causing record cold weather affecting some 200 million people in 2014. According to the study, over the past 30 years, the polar vortex has weakened, in part due to Arctic sea ice loss linked to human-caused climate change. That weakening has prompted a shift toward Europe and Asia in February. This means unusually cold days may become more common in February and March, the Weather Channel reported. At the same time, Europe is facing warmer winters. Many point to global warming. Scientists have long said global warming will bring extreme weather. This is what it looks like. Climate change can lead to extremes. It's not like a regular change, everyone to the same extent at all times and places, CO author Martin Chipperfield, professor of atmospheric chemistry at the University of Leeds, told Climate Wire. Despite the overall warming, you can get in places like the northeastern US extreme cold events. That's consistent with climate change and global warming. A weakened vortex means cold Arctic air moves to lower latitudes, as happened in early 2014 and 2015. Some experts are reporting the polar vortex is already acting up this year, and that may point for a troubling winter. In 2014, the polar vortex cost the U.S. economy some $5 billion in cancelled flights and infrastructure repairs. It also meant higher energy bills, which not only hit to consumers' pockets, they also mean more use of fossil fuels at a time when scientists say emissions have to be aggressively scaled back to keep climate change from worsening. According to the study, a prolonged Arctic air outbreak stemming from a weak and shifting polar vortex is more likely in North America beginning in the late winter and into early spring. This trend has been observed the past 3 winters. The study comes as the Arctic has been setting records for warmth and sea ice loss and Greenland ice sheet melt. In September, the Arctic sea ice minimum hit the second lowest level on record. Scientists have for years forecast that human-caused global warming would be at least twice as fast in the Arctic as in the rest of the planet because of Arctic amplification, a process in which white ice and snow is replaced by the dark blue sea or dark land that absorbs more solar rays that cause more melting. Meanwhile, the Southwest as well as many other parts of the country are reporting historic hot weather and droughts this fall. Just last week dozens of cities reported record-breaking temperatures as unusually hot weather stretched through the Southwest and into the Northeast. In another news post, the Queen offers to restore British rule over United States. In an unexpected televised address on Saturday, Queen Elizabeth II offered to restore British rule over the United States of America. Addressing the American people from her office in Buckingham Palace, the Queen said that she was making the offer in recognition of the desperate situation you now find yourselves in. This 240-year experiment in self-rule began with the best of intentions, but I think we can all agree that it didn't end well, she said. The Queen urged Americans to write in her name on Election Day, after which the transition to British rule could begin with a minimum of bother. Elizabeth acknowledged that, in the wake of Brexit, Americans might justifiably be alarmed about being governed by the British parliamentary system, but she reassured them, Parliament would play no role in this deal. This would be an old-school monarchy. Just me, and then, assuming you'd rather not have Charles, we could go straight to William and those children of his who have mesmerized you so. Using the closing moments of her speech to tout her credentials, the Queen made it clear that she has never used email and has only had sex with one person very occasionally. In another news post, we worked on the WHO, and the CDC has alerted doctors and pharmacists to ready themselves for a pandemic. Reports point out that the Spanish flu is back and with a vengeance. Oddly, we haven't seen a true case of the Spanish flu until this year. Could it be from the body they dug up to study? Strange things are just over the mountain. Please prepare, stay safe, and paranoid, my friends.